Welcome everybody to another episode of our comprehensive training series called SEP Knowledge Booster. For this video, I have the pleasure to hand over to you today's presenter Klaus, who will talk about the next hot topic with the SEP Sesam backup software. 3, 2, 1, launch!
Well, thank you, Katrin. And I'm happy that I can talk about a very technical topic today to use these interfaces and APIs of SAP Sesam, which makes it really flexible to adapt the environment to whatever needs you have. So what are the benefits of using SAP in this kind of manner? We have a huge set of different APIs you can use. You can see the most important ones are the REST API and the command line interface. However, you can use this in scriptings like pre and post scriptings, or even add it as a command event to a schedule in our graphical user interface. You can use our mailing interface, the SMTP interface. I will show this in the live demo later on, how you can use these interfaces. And it's also possible to do some configurable dynamic HTML reporting. We will have a separate video talking about customized HTML reports. Then we have this mapping with this Active Directory or LDAP directories. We have some RSS feeds and Ansible scripting. So as you can see, there are lots of technical APIs and interfaces to be used with SAP Sesam. Our product has a very detailed and well-structured documentation, our wiki. Please take a look. You will find whatever information you need also on these interfaces. They are very well documented, as I will show you during the live demo. Yeah, and then if you need help, we have high quality support out of Germany, very competent people. I know them all personally, so I can really say that I'm proud of these high competent people. Yeah, and our product has a very flexible pricing, so we have license models for small to enterprise business. Based on our broad support matrix, we are completely future-proof. Whatever database or hypervisor you will introduce into your environment, we will have an agent for it to do some online backup, so that's fine. It's a product developed in Germany, which makes it easier to help in terms of all kind of compliance regulations like GDPR and BSI and whatever you might think of. And last but not least, we have a lot of satisfied customers, and I will show you one example, one customer reference later on. So now, what are the benefits why you would use scripting and APIs? So the main purpose of these kind of technical interfaces is to be able to really adapt to whatever individual requirements the customer have. Not all the configurations are the same. In fact, they are all different and have their own requirements regarding processes, organization structure, backup concepts, responsibility structure, reporting, hardware, software environments, and all these kind of differentiators between these environments. And as an example, you can say that a customer has a separate department which is responsible only for Oracle. They are the Oracle admins, and they want to be able to do and trigger the Oracle backup. They want to have some specific reports only on the Oracle backups, and they want to be able to do some restore of these Oracle databases. Maybe they have some restrictions on where they can do a restore, on which partition maybe, and all these kind of things. So these are individual requirements we need to be able to adapt to. Well, however, it's easy to use our GUI, but some customers are not even using our GUI. They do everything with the CLI and all these interfaces. And especially if you have to do a lot of time the same process, manual process. You can do it with click, click, click in the GUI. That's easy one time, but you have to if you have to do the same thing 100 times, then it's really good if you can program it in a script and do some bulk installation and configuration and automate the complete thing, so that you make sure that all these 100 tasks are done the completely same way and identical. But you can also use it for testing purposes to set up specific environments. You can use it for training with the same manner. And it's available on Linux and Windows. So there are a lot of benefits with scripting and other APIs. Now, what's the outcome, the effect of these kind of interfaces? So if you look at a medium standard environment, what are they doing to start? They set up the backup server. They have some sort of hardware. They will download the package, the server package from our download server, install it. Then they have somewhere a sesam client, which might be a database server, no matter if it's virtual or physical client. They will install the client package, download the client package, and then they use our graphical user interface to add the client, to configure the task and the schedules and the media pools and whatever they need to really configure the backup. So the GUI is heavily used for all these kind of configurations. However, if there are bigger environments, if it comes to enterprise, then we have a already existing environment made of consisting of a lot of management tools already in place at the customer. And the backup software like SAP Sesam is like an engine which has to be part of this complete landscape of management tools, and the interfaces are the way to interact with these existing toolings, and this is valid from the rollout via maybe Ansible scripts, via the scheduling, if you trigger the task from external tools like UC4 Automatic, if you have not the user administration, authentication from Sesam itself, if you use external directories like Active Directory and eDirectory. If something goes wrong with a backup task, then via the REST API, the information will come to the incident management, OMI from Micro Focus, for example, and this can trigger some sort of task to report and resolve the backup problem. You have system management tools, reporting tools, and last but not least, we have the update and patch management. Well, you can click in the GUI easily to update all the clients in one step with one click. However, for enterprise environments, this might be a horrible scenario because they really like to test the updates and patches in a sandbox environment, and if they are successful, then they will roll out the updates in a planned process. Yeah, so here is a customer reference story who is using our command line interface in a broad manner. And this SAP UCC, they are preparing and providing SAP environments for teachers at universities. And if they will hold a lesson for their students, they have to set up a specific SAP environment, maybe HANA, maybe NetWeaver on DB2 or MaxDB. They have lots of possibilities, and they will set up the complete environment from the virtual machines to the database, all the client configuration, tasks, schedules, and so on. They will set up with one click, and then all the scripts will do the magic and set up the complete environment for these lessons. You see that it's a heterogeneous environment with a HPE catalyst in place for backup, target, and so on. So this is a very good real scenario, a real life scenario, how they are using the CLI. Now let's start with a live demonstration. First of all, we open our GUI. I've already opened it for you. And the first thing I would like to show you is our REST API and the power of the REST API. And the best entry to the REST API is that we use our dashboard. If I click on this icon, you will see that our dashboard is going to start with all the monitoring and logging and reporting information. And there's this little menu item where we can open the REST API version 2 documentation. And this is a long document. You can see the pages, the number of pages, and it explains in details all the API calls, all the parameters and options, how to use the API, and the error codes, and whatever you need for programming something with the REST API. So for an example, let's search for let's search for server. So hold on, this one. So now here you have the server API, and this is an information command, and we can use it. So let's just copy this one. This is the structure of a REST API call as well, because that's the right port, and this is our backup server over here in the SEP API. Let's open a new tab, and now we can use this API, and you can see that I have already done this. The server info, click on the server infos, then you see all the information about the backup server over here. It's a Linux server, which version is installed, and then this is kind of a JSON object, JavaScript based object notation, and this can be used for further treatment of this data. And you can use this with different parameters, then different calls. Also, maybe you would like to know which client you have in your environment. Just as an example, all the clients and all the information about the clients, it's all there. If you need the information of a specific client, then have the ID just here. And now here the ID 0 is the backup server itself. It's our demo fix 3, and this is all the information of the backup server. You can see the Linux installation, so that's the client side of the backup server, because every backup server is also a client. And you can also use another ID, and now this one, that's my own laptop, and it's a Windows machine. Over here you can see the topology, where it is located in the configuration, and all this kind of information of the client. So that's fairly easy to be used for API programming. You can use the curl framework to transmit URL data in some API framework. So this is possible with the REST API. Yeah, then also in this menu you will also find a link to our wiki, and for your convenience we can use this one, and it opens up our wiki. And now here you can go to documentation, and under documentation you will see that there's a link, advanced references. You see SEP sesam command line interface. If we click on this, here you see the complete description of our command line interface with all the possibilities, all the objects, monitoring commands. It's a really powerful and really complete set of command line functions. Now if you search over here for the CLI, that's also possible for search, then you have this page with this overview, and here in the showcase you can see a lot of examples how to work with these calls. Here you can modify a location, you can add a location, add a client, remove a schedule, and examples for a lot of these CLI commands. And also you see that there is another CLI, the SBC CLI. So with the sesam CLI you can do all the configuration tasks you can do with the GUI. set up schedules, configure tasks and clients and so on. And with the SPC CLI, you can do all the stuff on the client, like triggering backups and triggering restores and things what you would like to program and do on the client, especially for backup and restore. And it's also really complete, and you can use it for all kind of purposes. Yeah, if you are doing real programming, then normally you would have a command line tool like this one with this console, and here you can insert commands like smcmd help, and with this help command you will get also all the help about all the available options, commands, objects and so on. This helps. And if you need something specific, then you can do smcmd help on maybe client. Now you will see what is available for configuring a client, and examples are over here. And also if you do need help on how to configure a report, create a report, then you will have the help and an example how to create a report. So this is also a good possibility when programming with the command line interface. Now if we go back to the GUI, we have another interface over here. And if you click on it, you see that there is a notification center, our RSS feeds. There are always important messages to the administrator. Sometimes it's not important for you because it's referring to Citrix, but you are using VMware or such kind of stuff. But if it's important for you as an administrator, we will send out important messages like this one. There was from VMware a message that there's a bug in the CPT, and from this version on, and this helps you to know when you can rely on the backups or when there might be problems, and we will inform you. Yeah, then we also have the Active Directory or LDAP configurations. There's the permission management. Here you can see the configured users, here the configured groups, and under activation you can see that sesam currently is using our own authentication with our own database, but you can deactivate this authentication and you could use the LDAP or Active Directory authentication, which you would have to switch on over here, and then there would be a kind of mapping window showing the content of the Active Directory or LDAP, and then you can map groups and users to SEP Sesam. So that's how this works. Then we also have the interfaces. Over here we have the pre and the post interfaces. These are also programming interfaces, and it's possible for backup and for restore. And here you have to choose the client for which you would like to have a pre-script in the tasks, and this can be configured here, and say okay, and now you have this file with a little description, and here you can program some pre-scripts and save it, and then it's active, or it's usable then for tasks. Yeah, so that's how the pre and post scripts works. And if you need to use this pre and post scripts, then just go to the tasks by clients, and over here, just as an example, new backup task, then you will find under options, here are the pre and post backup options. What should happen if an error occurs in the pre-script or in the post-script? Should we continue with the task or not? So here are additional options for pre and post-scripts when you use them. Yeah, now after pre and post scripts, let's go to the mailing interface, and for this I will show you my mailing tool. Outlook should be pretty familiar for you, and there are a lot of mails from the backup server. You can see that's sent from the backup server via the SMTP interface, and there are different interfaces. For instance, here is an email for the disaster interface of the backup server, which can be used if you have a hardware failure and set up the backup server on new hardware, disaster recovery installation. Then you need this bootstrap file, and here's a description how to use this disaster recovery interface. But there are also HTML reports and some templates we have in our environment over here. Here's the storage report last 24 hours, or the backup report last 24 hours. And if we watch this HTML report in a browser, then you can see the successful backups, backups with warnings, cancelled backups, and if this is bigger than 0, then this top line will be red and mark that there have been some errors you have to look at. Yeah, look at the backup task groups, the overview, and well, we don't have any migrations and replications currently in our demo environment. Yeah, so and also if you go to the backup storage report, show it in a browser, now you see that that's a template which look like this. Here's the task, the state, the name of the backup and the safe set, the pools, the safe set pools, the media pools, end of lifetime. So important information about your backups as well. These are only 2 templates of our reports, and there are much more templates. And next week I will show you how to create your own customized HTML reports with these powerful interface. Yeah, so if we look in our graphical user interface, again, it's over here, and you can see that there are interfaces, the pre and post scripting interfaces. And for these HTML reports, we have the notify interface, which means you get an email every day on a regular basis, or the alarm interface, which will send emails only if something serious happens to your backup task or restore task. So you have different triggers to set when to send an email, and the disaster interface for the disaster recovery of the backup server, and the email I have shown you already for this. So now let's have a look at the notify interface, how we create these backup tasks. And this is also kind of a template with some descriptions about the trigger events, when to trigger the emails, the HTML, the sending of these emails in English and German language over here. Then there are some subroutines, and at the end, let's go to the end. Here we have the case, and we have these events, and in the all jobs done event, there will be sent the backups last 24 hours and the backup storage last 24 hours. So this is just simple shell scripting, and let's have a look at these report subroutines which are over here. Yeah, you can see report backups last 24 hours, and there are just the parameters for the email, the language, the mail user to send the mails, which is a sesam mail address. I will show you how to configure this. These are the time frames, the period for the reports, and here we have the subject in different languages. And we have our command line interface over here, and there's the command line to start a report, create this report with this name and these options, and write it to an HTML file. And then via our SMTP interface, we send this to the email address sesam with this subject and the HTML file as the message body, and also as an attachment attached to this mail. So that's how it works, how we can use our command line interface in these kind of HTML reporting via email. Now let's have a look at our command interface, and I will first show you a little script I have prepared already. so that we can use this in our GUI for command events. So this one, hold on a second, I have to type the path KRI demo sh. So now this shell script, which has executable options, of course, has this command, and this command is a backup command. It starts this job, the sesam backup, the own backup of the backup server, and that's the media pool. It's somewhere on HPE store once, the backups, and we do an incremental backup so that we might see the successful end of this backup during this session. Yeah, so that's fairly easy, this demo script. And now I will show you how we can set this as a command event. Now we have to prepare this command. So we click under configuration on commands, and here you can see that there are several commands already configured in our demo environment for doing Oracle backups, some kind of Almond-based scripts or SAP HANA backup and so on. And now we will create a new one, and this new one we give it the name KRI demo so that we know which script we are going to use, and we will run this on our backup server. That's this one. The user should be root for the backup, and here we insert the path again to the script so that it's possible to run this script. So now let's check again. It's the opt sesam bin sesam kri demo.sh. So that's fine. Okay, now it's created over here. You can see it. So now we have the possibility to immediately start this task. Under activities, you have the immediate start command. You could select this command and then start it as an immediate start. That's possible. I think that's cool. But you can also create a schedule for this. Now let's create a schedule under schedules over here. New schedule, and we also give it the name KRI demo. It's only temporary, and we just run it once, not daily, not weekly, and so on. We only run it once. And now, okay, now that's a schedule. Now what should happen once? It's only a framework schedule. Now we have to enter an event, and now the events available are a backup event and so on. And now we would like to add a command event. That's from here. And now we choose one of the commands. That's the KRI demo we have already configured in our system. Yeah, so select. It's taken all the parameters over here, and now we say okay. And now this task is going to run. So let's go to the backups overview. You can see that the KRI demo is already active. That's the command event. And now you should see that the backups, the backup of the sesam backup, it's the own backup of the backup server as an incremental is going to be triggered from this command event. And that's what I wanted to show you over here. If you go back to the schedules, after this task is finished, the schedule will be removed. It's no longer there because it just happens once. So the schedule will be removed. And here you see the sesam backup is successful, the incremental backup with the data size, throughput, and all this kind of information you have for your backup. So now the last thing I wanted to show you is our Ansible possibilities. And now let's go and have in the browser somewhere in Google and search for GitHub. If you're familiar with Red Hat Ansible, you might know that all the scriptings are available publicly in GitHub. And if you search for GitHub, sesam Ansible, then just click on it on the first hit, and here you can see that there are sesam Ansible sesam scripts to deploy a sesam server or a client. That's all possible. And why this is possible with Ansible scripting? Because we have a download server which can be scripted so that the packages are downloaded and installed with all these Ansible scripts, and this is also very, very powerful. Yeah, so I hope that you have enjoyed this live demonstration, and you have learned a lot today. Now let's talk about a real expert topic. So, did you know that it is also possible to use SQL queries to retrieve infos from the database of the backup server directly? We have a specific interface, it's called SMDB, to execute SQL queries and got all kind of special information you need from the database itself. So there are scripts available in our wiki. If you search for Nagios, for instance, you can use it as a template and adapt it to your needs, and you see how this interface will be used. However, I really want to take care of what you do with this command line interface, because it's very, very powerful, and you can really do a lot of damage and harm your backup environment. And you need some knowledge of the table spaces, the structure of the tables and fields to use it completely. However, it is really powerful and flexible. So overall, with all these interfaces, I can honestly say that SAP is the best solution for all customers with specific integration and customization needs. So Katrin, are you ready to take over?
Yes, of course. Hey, are you impressed of what you have heard until now? Then you might be interested in gaining more information about this powerful backup software. After our SEP specialist has talked a lot about a specific backup topic, during the next roundabout 4 minutes, I would like to give you a short overview of the general capabilities of SEP Sesam. I'm sure you will be impressed of what is really possible with this product. This is essentially based on 6 strategic columns. The first and most important topic is our huge support matrix. There is an agent available for almost every operating system, database, or application you can imagine. Market leaders as well as niche products, for example for mailing, Exchange or Copano. Even a lot of older versions are supported, because all old SEP clients are still compatible and usable with the latest SEP backup server, for example NetWare, or outdated Windows versions. The second strategic focus is our strong partnership with SAP. While being 2 German companies, we work together from SMB to Enterprise, from Business One to S/4HANA. SAP has the most complete set of certified agents for the SAP portfolio, including NetWeaver running on Oracle or MaxDB, Linux or Windows, HANA or ASE, known as Sybase. Moreover, SAP not only supports simple HANA backup via the backend interface, but also functionalities like multi-tenancy, housekeeping, scale up, scale out, HANA Studio integration, disaster recovery, and efficient performance by parallel HANA backend channels for backup and recovery. Third, we focus on our partnership with HPE. Besides the perfect fit with our SAP partnership, this means that we step by step integrate deeper into the HPE portfolio. We just released our HPE certified Catalyst integration, including Catalyst Copy and Cloud Bank Storage. More to come soon. As a fourth element, we are proud of our multi-hypervisor support. By supporting more than 8 hypervisors, we are a perfect fit into every virtual environment beyond VMware and Hyper-V, or in every multi-hypervisor infrastructure. Based on our Unix and Linux history, we have a strong focus on open source. This becomes apparent from our partnerships with Red Hat and SUSE, but also from the support metrics, where you can find agents for open source products like KVM, MariaDB, or Postgres. Last but not least, we see the market going cloud. With our Cloud Application Protection Service products, we help you to back up your Office 365, G Suite, Salesforce, or Microsoft Dynamics environment. With Office 365, we back up the full set of features like Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, public folders, and Teams. With SEP Sesam, it is possible to run completely in AWS, replicate to a public cloud via S3, or simply use Catalyst Cloud Bank storage and let HPE Store Once do the replication work. All these topics are covered in separate videos. Therefore, we can proudly state that SEP Sesam is the most powerful backup software. Well, if you are now interested in knowing more about SEP, you can find detailed information about market, sales, product and company on our webpage. Profound technical information can be found in our large wiki online documentation. If there are any questions left, please do not hesitate to contact us via email to sales@sepsoftware.com. So, I'm pretty sure that I'll see you next time when you're back on Tube to boost your SEP knowledge again.